Hi guys, welcome back to ladensercrotchets. If you're new to the channel, my name is Liz. You're welcome. Kindly subscribe and join the family. In this tutorial, we're making a very simple mesh cover-up dress, which is a maxi dress, and it has slits on both sides, long slits. You can have them as long as you want them. They don't have to be as long as mine. Get your materials and let's get into it. I'm using a medium weight yarn in color mustard. This is an acrylic yarn, 100% acrylic, and it's a 4-ply yarn. Then I'll use my 3.5mm crochet hook. You'll need a pair of scissors, stitch markers, a darning needle, and a measuring tape. Take your yarn and the hook and begin with a slip knot. Our starting chain is our shoulder to shoulder measurements. So you're going to chain until you get your shoulder to shoulder measurements. "45 chains are what give me my shoulder to shoulder measurement, which is 15 when I stretch out slightly. Make sure that the chain that you make is an odd number. Now block off the 45th and chain one more. Then go back into that stitch that you're holding with a single crochet. Insert your hook into the next chain and do a single crochet. Into the next chain, single crochet next, and place one single crochet into all the stitches to the end of row 1. Because I've begun with a chain of 45, I should have 45 single crochets by the end of row 1. I'm coming to the end of row 1 and I'm just placing the last single crochet into that last stitch, and we're done with row 1. We're going to chain 4 and turn. Now the chain 4 will act as a double crochet plus a chain 1, and that means we are going to skip the next chain and work the next stitch and work into the third stitch with a double crochet. So now we have a double crochet, chain 1, then skip 1, double crochet. Again, chain 1, yarn over, skip the next stitch, work into the next one with a double crochet, chain 1, skip the next stitch and work into the next one, chain 1, skip, double crochet next. Now repeat this to the end of row 2. At the end, I have 2 stitches remaining, and so I'll just chain 1 and work my last double crochet into the last stitch after skipping this. So double crochet at the end. We're done with row 2. Chain 1 and turn. Chain 4, sorry, we are chaining 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is a double crochet and a chain 1. Then turn. And then next you work on top of the next double crochet. Place a double crochet on top of it, chain 1, go to the next double crochet and do another double crochet there, chain 1, double crochet next, chain 1, and repeat to the end. At the end, chain 1, yarn over, skip 1 stitch here, skip 1 stitch right here, then work into the third chain with a double crochet. And that's the end of row 3. Chain 4 and turn to begin row 4. Instead of working in this double crochet, I'm going to go back into this first double crochet, and this is an increase at the beginning of row 3. and we want to work the increase in order to achieve the bust measurements. Now, for the bust measurement, you take your bust measurement and divide it by 2. Mine is 36 divided by 2, it's going to be 18, and I'm going to be increasing until I hit the bust measurement, which is 18 inches. So I'm going to increase at the beginning of row 3 and at the end of row 3. So next, I'll chain 1 and work on top of the next double crochet, chain 1, place a double crochet into the previous double crochet, chain 1, and repeat to the end. Then at the end, I'll show you how to increase. At the end, I've chained 1, and then I'm going to work a double crochet into the chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Work the last double crochet right there. Then we need to increase at that end, and we're going to chain 1, go back into that last stitch with another double crochet. And there we have an increase in row. It's actually row 4, but row 3 of the meshy part. So I'll count it as row 3, ignoring the single crochet row, which is the foundation row. So that is my row 3 of the meshy part. Now we're going to chain 4 and turn to begin row 4, and we're not going to increase in row 4. We're just going to work in the next double crochet, chain 1, and work a double crochet into all the double crochets separated by a chain 1. At the end of row 4, we're going to chain 1 and work the last double crochet on top of the chain 3. Then we're going to work row 5. Again, row 5 is not going to be an increased row, so that means we'll be increasing after every 3 rows. So 1, 2, no increase, increase in the third, then 4 and 5, no increase, increase in the 6th. So I'm going to work row 5 with no increase. Start by chaining 4, turn in, we skip to the next double crochet, chain 1, double crochet next, and repeat to the end. Chain 1 and do the last double crochet on top of the chain 3 to complete row 5. And now we start row 6, which is an increased row. So chain 4 and turn. We begin in the first chain, in the first stitch, place a double crochet into that very first stitch, and that's the increase at the beginning. Chain 1, skip over to the next double crochet, work a double crochet on top of it, chain 1, double crochet next, chain 1, and double crochet to the end. Then we're going to increase at the end. I'm at the end, so I've chained 1. I'll work the last double crochet on top of the chain 3, and because we're increasing at that point, we're going to chain 1 and go back into that stitch with another double crochet, and that's the increase in row 6. Then we're going to work row 7 and row 8 without increase, and then increase in row 9, and we'll keep alternating the increases until we get to half of the bust measurement. And when you're doing that, you measure without stretching. When you're measuring the bust measurement, you do that without stretching out too much. Right now I'm at around 13.5. If I give this a little bit of a stretch, it will get to 15, and I want to work until I get to 18. Don't stretch your work too much, because you don't want something that is too tight, because this is a cover up and it's supposed to be free. I'm in row 7, so I'll work row 7 and 8 without increase, then I'll increase in row 9 and keep going till I get the 18 inches. I'm in row 12, which is my last row of increase that gets me to the half of my bust measurement. And I'm going to measure this from one end to the other without stretching. It's at 16, so when I give it a little bit of a stretch, it will get me to 18. If I stretch it more, it could get to 40, to 20, which is 40 when multiplied by 2. Now from here, I'm going to work until I get to my top measurement, that is the length from the shoulders to the waist. Now right now I'm at a length of 7 inches, and I'm going to work till I get to a length of 12 inches without increasing. So the next rows will be rows of no increase at all, just 1 double crochet into each double crochet separated by a chain 1. So to begin row 13, I'll chain 4 and turn, then insert my double crochet into the next double crochet, chain 1, double crochet next, and repeat to the end. Once you get to the end, just chain 4 and turn, and keep working the rows till you get to your top measurement, or till you get to the length from your shoulders to the waist. This is after working a total of 23 rows, and that gets me to a length of 14 inches, which is the length from the shoulders to the waist. So from there, because we've gotten to the waist measurements, to the shoulder to waist measurements, we're going to start increasing on the sides to achieve the hip measurement. At this point, we are at a hip measurement of 15. And when we stretch it out a little bit, it should get to 18. And now I want to, 18 is the bust measurement, so I'm not including the waist measurement here. I'm just going to work with the bust measurement up to the waist part, and then I'll increase to get to the hip measurement. My hip measurement is 44, and so divided by 2, that should be 22. And I'm going to increase until I get to 22. And I want to ensure that I get to 22 when I'm slightly stretching my work. Like I mentioned, we don't want a dress that is too tight because it's a cover-up. And a cover-up should not be too tight. So from row 24, we start increasing. And we're going to increase in every 3 rows, just like we increased on the upper part. So begin by chaining 4. And turn. Then in the very first double crochet, we place a double crochet there. Chain 1, then move to the next double crochet and place a double crochet. Chain 1, double crochet into the next double crochet, and repeat to the end, and then at the end we're going to do an increase. At the end, we place the last double crochet onto the chain 3, then chain 1 and place an increase, a double crochet into that same last stitch. And we are done with that increase. So for the next 2 rows, I'm going to work without increasing. Chain 4, turn, skip the first double crochet and work into the second, then repeat to the end. So at the end, we place the last double crochet on top of the chain 3, and that's the first row with no increase. Chain 4 and turn, then work this row the same way we've worked the previous one with no increase. Start in the second double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, repeat to the end, and then at the end I'll meet you there so that we can work the next increase. So I've increased in row 24, then row 25 and 26, no increase, and we're going to work an increase in row 28. Start by chaining 4, and then turn. Begin in the very first double crochet, place a double crochet there, chain 1, work a double crochet into the next double crochet, repeat to the end and work an increase at that end. Then the next 2 rows will have no increase, the next one will have an increase, and you'll increase as you measure to ensure that you do not increase too much. So increase as you measure to achieve half of your hip measurement. Let me do that, and once I've achieved the hip measurement, I'll come back and let you know how many increases I'll have done. My last increase is in row 33, and at this point I have my hip measurement. Which is at 19.5 without stretching. Then once I give this a bit of a stretch, it gets me to my 22 inches, which is what I was going for. From row 34 until I get the full length of my dress, I'll just work without an increase. So I've chained 4, I'll turn, and I'm going to work the double crochets separated by a chain 1 all the way till I get to the bottom of my dress. I'm working a maxi dress, and therefore I'll work the rows, then I'll be back and let you know the total number of rows that I'll have worked to get to my full measurement. To work the front panel, we start with a slip knot and chain 11. This is standard for all the sizes, regardless of the shoulder to shoulder measurement that you had. So chain 11. After the 11 chains, block off the last chain and chain 1 more. Then go back into that chain that you're holding, insert your hook and do a single crochet, then a single crochet into the next chain, and a single crochet into all the chains for a total of 11 single crochets. This is our foundation row, which is a single crochet row. Just like we did with the back panel. Now we're going to do the same thing we did with the back panel. So we chain 3, chain 4 actually, chain 4, and turn. Then we're going to skip the first and the second chain and work into the third chain with a double crochet. Chain 1, skip one stitch, work into the next one, double crochet, chain one, skip this, work into the next one with a double crochet, chain one, skip this, work into the next one, place a double crochet there, chain one, skip the second last stitch and work into the last one with a double crochet. And that's our row 1. Then we're going to chain 4 and turn. After turning, we're going to do a double crochet onto the second double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into the next double crochet, chain 1, and repeat to the end. At the end, chain 1, skip one chain here and work into the third chain. From here we're counting 1, 2, 3, or skipping a chain in between. Now those are 2 rows. We're going to start increasing on one side. So we'll increase on this side as this other side remains straight. Begin by chaining 4 and turn, yarn over and place a double crochet into this very first double crochet to work that increase. Remember, we're increasing only on one side. You can mark that side with a stitch marker so that you don't forget. Then chain 1 and work on top of the next double crochet, chain 1, double crochet next, and repeat to the end. At the end, we're going to work the double crochet on top of the chain 3, no increase on that side. So chain 1 on top of the third chain, place the last double crochet. Then the next 2 rows will be rows of no increase at all. So chain 4 and turn, begin in the next double crochet with the double crochet, then repeat to the end. Then that's row 4. We do row 5, same as row 4 with no increase. Chain 4, turn, and place a double crochet into each of the other double crochets separated by a chain 1. This is a total of 5 rows. At the end of the 5th row, chain 1 and cut off the yarn, pull through and fasten. Now this goes to one side like this. So the side that is increased should go onto the edge, or it could be on this side like this. Now we're going to make something like this, completely like this one, and then after we are done with it, we're not going to cut off the yarn because we're going to use it to connect it to the other one. Now I'll begin with a slip knot and work something like this with 5 rows. I'm starting with a chain of 11. I have the second piece of the front panel ready, and when you get the back panel, this is where the pieces should go. So one of them goes to one side, the other one will be on this other side like this. Then this part right here is the neckline. Now you want to get the 11 plus 11, and that will be 22. Then get the starting chain that you did for the back panel. Mine was 45, so I'm going to take the 45 minus the 22 represented by these 2, and that will give me 23. Now 23 is the chains that will be in this gap that is between this piece and this other piece. So from here I'm going to make a chain of 23, After the 23 chains, you want to make sure that you're joining on the side that does not have an increase. So I'll get this double crochet right here and slip stitch into it. Make sure that your chain is not twisted. Now slip stitch right there and chain 1, then cut off the yarn at that point, pull through and fasten. Then we're going to turn our work to this side like this, and we're going to do row 6. Row 6 is an increase row because we are done 2 rows, increase 2 rows. The next one should be an increase row. Now get the yarn and do a slip knot. Then we get this chain. This is a chain 4, and we're going to count the 3 chains and reconnect on top of the 3 chains right here. Reconnect the yarn with a slip stitch. Then we're going to chain 4. After chaining 4, we're going to go back into that chain 3 with a double crochet for that increase in row 6. Then we're going to chain 1 and repeat the double crochets on top of the previous double crochets separated by a chain. I'm in the last double crochet, and so I'm going to chain 1, then I'll skip this first chain and work into the next one. Chain 1, skip this chain, work into the chain that follows, chain 1, skip and work a double crochet into the next chain, chain 1, skip this, work into the next one, chain 1, skipping and working a double crochet into the next. Repeat till you get to this part. So next I'm going to chain. I'll skip this and work on top of the double crochet from the other side like that. Then that's not how it's supposed to be. It should be like this. So chain 1, double crochet right here, and now repeat to the end. At the end we're going to work an increase because we're in row 6. So at the end, chain 1 and work a double crochet into the 3rd chain, counting from here. So 1, 2 and 3, and then chain 1, go back into that same stitch with another double crochet for that increase in row 6. And this is what we have. Like that. Now from this point till we get to the full length of the front panel, we're going to work just like we worked with the back panel. So my next increase is in row 9, then I'm going to have another increase in row 12. No, this is row 6, then row 9, then row 12. Did I have an increase in row 15? Let me see. So we have row 3, 6, 9 and 12. So I increased up to row 12, and then from row 12 up to row 23 there was no increase. Then after that I increased up to row 33, and then the other part there'll be no increase. So now I'm going to go ahead and work both pieces, both panels, and because I've not even completed the back panel, I'll come back with both of them complete. Then I'm going to let you know the total number of rows that I've worked for both of them. Now keep going and I'll meet you once I have my 2 panels complete. I'm done with the both panels, and this is the back panel from the top. Then it goes all the way down to the bottom, and I've done a total of 80 rows to get to my full measurement. Let me show you how to measure that. When you're taking your length, you do not stretch out your work. So measuring from the top right here, we just go down. And as you can see, it goes up to a length of 49. I was targeting 48, and 49 is perfect because it's going to be long enough. So I've already done the other panel. So this is the back, and this is the wrong side of the back panel. So I'll just, before then, let me show you the front panel. So that's the back panel. Then I have the front panel right here, starting from the top. So this is where we're going to connect the shoulders on this part and on this other part. Then everything else to the bottom is the same. So now right there, I have my two panels. The next thing that we need to do is a single crochet edging on the sides. So I'm just going to get my yarn and then make sure that I'm on the right side of the dress. Then I'm going to begin from the bottom on this side. I'll reconnect my yarn in the first row. This very first row right here. Reconnect my yarn with a slip stitch and then chain one. Then I'll bring these two ends and I'm going to work over them. Beginning from that first row, I'll place 2 single crochets into that row. So single crochet and then another single crochet into the same row. Then I'll move to the next row and do the same thing, 2 single crochets into that row. 1 and 2. 2 single crochets into the next row. Then 2 single crochets into the row that follows, into the next row. Then I'll repeat working 2 single crochets into each of the rows till I get to the top part of the dress right here, to the shoulders. So each of the rows gets 2 single crochets. I'm in the last row, and right there I'm going to place my 2 single crochets, and I'm done with the edging on one of the sides. That gets me to the shoulder part, and once I get there, I'm going to work a single crochet onto this single crochet on top. Work a single crochet, then work 2 more single crochets into that corner stitch for a total of 3. So 1 and 2, and that turns me to this side, and in each of the stitches I'm going to place 1 single crochet. I'm in the last stitch, and I'm just placing my single crochet there, and then I'll place 2 more to get to 3 stitches in the same corner stitch, so that we turn to the other edge. And on that other edge, we are working on the rows, and each of the rows will get 2 single crochets. So beginning with this first row, place 2 single crochets, 2 single crochets next, and now we're going to continue till we get to the bottom part. I'm in the last row where I'll place my 2 single crochets. Then I'm going to have a single crochet into the third chain, which is this chain right here. That is a corner stitch. Then I'll place 2 more single crochets there, so that I'm able to turn to the bottom part of the dress. Now at the bottom, I'm going to place a single crochet into the chain 1, this one right here. Then I'll place a single crochet on top of the previous double crochet, a single crochet in the chain 1 gap, a single crochet into the double crochet, into the chain 1 gap, then into the double crochet, and repeat to the end. I'm in the last gap, and then I'll do a double crochet on top of this double crochet right here, then slip stitch into the first single crochet that I did, chain 1, and cut off the yarn at that point. Now we've done a single crochet edging all the way around the dress. We've begun from the bottom part right here, gone all the way up, then done a row of single crochet on top, then a single crochet edging all the way to the bottom part again, and then on the bottom part. And that's what we're going to do with the front panel too. So this is the back panel, which is ready. Now for the front panel, you also need to make sure you're on the right side. And I'm going to begin from this point and work all the way to the top. Then once I get to the top, I'll show you how to work the edging on the neckline, because we're going to work it differently from the way we work on these corners. So the inside corners are worked differently from the outer corners. So I'll meet you on top of the front panel. I'm in the last row where I'll place 2 single crochets. Then I'm going to work in the corner stitch, this one right here, but I'll work the stitch here. I'll work 3 stitches to turn at that corner. Then I'm going to work till I get to the last single crochet on this corner. At the corner stitch, I'll do 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, and 3, and that will get me to these rows. So into each of those 5 rows, I'll place 2 single crochets. 1, 2, then the next one you'll get 1 and 2, then And that gets us to the inside corner. At the inside corner, we do not place any stitch. So we're just going to skip this part and work into this gap with just one single crochet. Then we're going to work on top of the double crochet with a single crochet into the next gap, single crochet, single crochet on top of the double crochet, then single crochet into the chain one gap, single crochet on top of the double crochet and into the gap till we get to this corner. Once we get there, we're going to work a single crochet into the chain one gap. Then we're going to skip to the rows. Into this first row, we'll place 2 single crochets. So this is how the neckline will look like. Then we're going to work 2 single crochets in each of the rows to the top. And we get to the corner stitch where we're going to place 3 single crochets into the same stitch. Then we get to the shoulder part where we place 1 single crochet into each of the other stitches till we get to the corner. Now in that corner stitch, I've already done 1 single crochet, then I'm going to do 2 more to get 3, and then skip over to the double crochet row and place 2 single crochets. Then I'm going to work 2 single crochets into each of the rows all the way to the bottom part. At this point, when I get to this part, I'll place 3 single crochets after these are chains, so I'll work 2 single crochets into the gap, then into the third chain I'll place 3 single crochets, then work at the bottom and finish at this point, just like I did with the back panel. Then I'll come back once I'm done so that I can show you how to join the 2 panels now. I have the edging on the front panel done. So this is the bottom part. Then we have the other part. And so I'll place the front panel with the wrong side facing up. Not facing up, but facing down, sorry. I place the front panel with the wrong side. This is the wrong side, it's facing down, and this is the right side that is on the upper part. Then I'll get the back panel and place it such that the wrong side is on top. Like this. And now we're going to join the shoulder parts. To join the shoulder parts, you need to get the middle stitch. We did 3 stitches in this corner, so the one in the middle, and the one that is in the middle on the other side. We're going to insert our hook there. Then we're going to connect, get the yarn, and slip stitch, then chain 1, and tighten, fasten. After chaining 1, we're going to go back into that stitch. And as we do that, we work over the end, and then we're going to connect the 2 stitches with a single crochet. Then insert the hook into the second stitch and the second stitch on the other side and connect with a single crochet. Insert the hook into the third stitch and the third on the other side and do a single crochet, and we're going to do that till we get to the middle stitch on this corner. Right here we have 3 stitches, 1, 2 and 3, so we're going to do the connection until we get to this stitch, which is a stitch in the middle. I'm in the last stitch, and right there I'm going to do the last single crochet, and connect it with the corresponding stitch on the other side, then chain 1 and cut the yarn. And we've connected one part of the shoulder. This is what we have from the right side. Then we're going to go to the other side. You can connect from this side by counting the stitches, or you can turn your work so that you work from the edge. Start with the middle stitch at the corner. This one. Let me see. Yeah. This one right here, and the middle stitch on the other side. Grab the yarn, do a slip stitch and chain 1. Then go back into that stitch with a single crochet and connect just like we've connected on the other side. So just connect the corresponding stitches. I'm in the last stitch where I'll connect with a single crochet, chain 1 and cut off the yarn at that point, then pull the yarn through, and we have the 2 shoulders joined. So this is what we have at the neckline on the wrong side. Then you're going to turn your work to the edge on this side, this part. Then you're going to measure out the armhole. And to do that, get your measuring tape, measure from the top. I'm just going to measure from on one side, and then on the other sides I'll count the stitches. So from here I'm going to measure 8 inches without stretching. You can measure between 7 and 9 depending on your size. If you're a size small, measure 7. If you're a medium to large, 8 will be okay. If you're an extra large, then measure out 9. So after the 8 inches, I'll get my stitch marker. So 8 inches right here. Get my stitch marker and mark that point. Now I'll count the same number of stitches on the other side, and then I'll just count the gaps. It's easier that way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So on the other side, I'll count 11 gaps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Then connect right there with a stitch marker like that. Then from there, I'm going to measure the full length up to the point where I want the slit to begin, and I want to measure 25 inches from the top to where my slit begins. So I'm counting 28 from here 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 27 and 28. So the stitch after the 28th gap, I'll pin it together with the stitch, the corresponding stitch on the other side, like that. So when I'm joining, I'm going to join from one stitch marker to the other. Then I'll do the same thing on the other side. So whatever we've done on this side, mirror it on the other side. So right here we counted 11. We counted 11 on this side. So on the other side, I'll count 11 and mark. So I'm counting 1 2 3 4 5. Wait. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 and 11. So after the 11th row, I mark. Then from this stitch, I'll count 28. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So 28, and now instead of marking, I'll just insert my hook on this side and on the other side, connect those corresponding stitches after the 28th mark, and then get the yarn and slip stitch into those two stitches to connect them. Slip stitch, then chain 1 and go back into that stitch with a single crochet. As we do that, we work over this end. Then we're going to work into the next stitch, single crochet, then single crochet next, and we're going to join with single crochets till we get to this first stitch marker. My last stitch is going to be at that point where we have the stitch marker. So I'll do my last single crochet there, then chain 1 and cut off the yarn, pull through and fasten, and that one side of the dress is joined. So we have the armhole, the joined part, and then all this other part is the slit to the bottom of the dress. Then we're going to turn to the other side and reconnect the yarn at this point, and then connect same way we've connected on the other side. Let me do that, then come back. I'm done connecting the dress on both sides, and now I'll just weave in the ends, starting with the ones on the bottom. So get the darning needle, put your end through, and weave it inside the stitches, the single crochet stitches on the inside part of the dress. Once you're satisfied it's well hidden, now cut off whatever remains. Then I have the one right here. then the one on top, and I'll weave in all the other ends, and after I'm done weaving the other ends, I'll be done. I'll then turn my work to the right side and show you how it will be looking like. Now I'll turn my work to the right side. And this is what we have. This is the neckline. I like to stretch my stitches at the points of connection so that I keep it straight. Then we have the stitches on the side. And the ones on the other side. So that's the bottom part with the long slits, the sides, and the armhole. After completing the dress, this is what we're going to have. It's completely awesome and I enjoyed working this. If you did enjoy watching the tutorial, kindly leave a like, comment, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and see you in the next tutorial.